This is a special presentation of the Legend in My Spare Time podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. Please like and subscribe and follow us on Twitter at Legend Podcast.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. A special presentation of the Legend in My Spare Time podcast, your favorite podcaster's favorite podcast. I am your host, MattLees. Welcome. Please, as the nice radio voice, robot voice said at the beginning, please follow us on Twitter at Legend Podcast. We are available wherever podcasts are available. Now, this episode is clean, is family friendly, but the rest of the Legend in My Spare Time podcast universe is explicit, adult content. You may get a laugh out of it, but don't listen to it while you're driving the kids to school or anything like that. Now listen, also, we want you to follow our good friend Colin R Parsons. That's who I'm chatting with here on this special episode as we talk about the Rhondda Book Fair 2018. Check him out, Colin R Parsons. But first, I want to remind you about Friday, August the 31st in Pontypool, South Wales, the Pontypool Working Men's Club to be exact. Myself, MattLees versus Cancer. A night of live music. A night of live blues, rock, pop, and originals in aid of the Valindra Cancer Center. That's right, it's £5 per person, and every single penny goes directly to the Valindra Cancer Center, a fantastic local hospital doing incredible things for cancer. So, if you're local and you want to come out, you are more than welcome. There are still some tickets available. They move quickly, but there's still some tickets available. I look forward to seeing all of you there. And for those of you loyal podcast listeners, there's also an extra surprise. Your man, Just Johnny, my co-host on Legend in My Spare Time podcast, will make his debut as sound man extraordinaire. That's right. I'm going to try to give him some of my teachings, some of my knowledge over the years as a sound engineer. So, Friday, August 31st, music will start about 8 p.m. Get in early, get some drinks, throw some change in the green buckets, it'll be everywhere. Take part in the raffle, which will also include our good friend Colin R Parsons. He's going to bring along a copy of one of his books, and then the winner on the night is going to get that book. Not only will they get to meet the author, he's going to personalize the book and sign it for you. That's a great prize. Just one of the many that'll be going on in our raffle. Another one of those is from our good friends, the Chicago Blues Brothers, who, I need not tell you, are Europe's finest Blues Brothers tribute act. We talked with Chris a few weeks ago on our very podcast, and he has been gracious enough to donate 2 tickets to any show of your choice performed by the Chicago Blues Brothers on their upcoming brand new tour, the Motown Mission. So on the night, you'll have a chance to win these 2 tickets, and then you're going to a show of your choice, baby. That and a few other things in our raffle, as well as a night of what I hope you'll agree is some cool live music. All right, but enough about this. Enough about that. If you want to donate and you're not local, it's justgiving.com/fundraising/MattLees Music. If you want to throw a few ducats that way, we would be so gracious, or I would be so happy and grateful. So thank you so much. That's justgiving.com/fundraising/MattLees Music. Now that's enough about that. My guest at this time is the fantastic fantasy, science fiction, and steampunk author and good friend of the show, Colin R Parsons. He's the magical mind behind such novels as Disc, Direct Interface Shadow Control, Ghosted, and the Wizard's Kingdom trilogy, to name just a few. All available on Amazon or wherever you purchase your books. Now, with the assistance of his wonderful wife, Jan, they are the team behind the Rhondda Book Fair, taking place this year on Saturday, September the 1st, from the beautiful Sowar Chapel Community Center in the Rhondda. This year's celebrating its 4th year, and it's the time of year that Colin and I lift our restraining order against each other in order to be allowed to be in the same place at the same time. As once again, I will be your official host for the 2 author panels and an exclusive sit-down interview. Here to help me tell you more about this year's guests, the panels, and the event itself is my good friend, Mr. Colin R. Parsons.
I'm honored, to be honest. It was, I think you recorded me a while back for the Halloween thing.
That's right. You made a guest appearance in a Halloween spooktacular.
Yeah, and I've played that back quite a few times, and I really love the effect.
Oh, it's one of those. That thing took me so much work and took me so long to do it. It really was a, what's the word? A work of, that.
Labor of love.
That's the one. That's why you're the writer, you see? It was a labor of love. And then when I look at it on YouTube and it has like 41 hits, I'm like, really? Was it even worth it? I worked so hard on that thing. But anyway, it's not about my hurt feelings, is it?
It's not.
Now listen. Go ahead, please.
No, I was going to say that 41 hits is pretty good. I don't get anywhere near that on my YouTube channel.
I guess so. So, stating current audience then, I'm huge. And that video is a smashing success. It got less complaints than the new Star Wars did, so, I can say that truthfully. So,
haven't even seen that yet.
You have not seen The Last Jedi yet?
No.
All right, well, you need to...
sorry. I mean, Solo I was talking about.
Oh, right. No, Solo's okay. It's all right. Anyway, listen, let's get to business here. Saturday, September the 1st, we are going to be back at the SOAR Chapel Community Center in the Rhondda for the Rhondda Book Fair. And this is the third year in a row. So what can people expect this year from the book fair?
Well, the Rhondda Book Fair is a community get-together, to be honest, to be with literature and books. It's actually the fourth year it's been run. The first year I actually ran it with somebody else, and then the 3 years since then it's been with me and Jan. So it's where anybody who likes to read or anybody who doesn't like to read would like to come along, and they can just have a lovely day of meeting different authors. They can check out the books. They can have cake, tea, coffee, and soft drinks. It's not just a literature event. It's where families and friends all can come and spend the day, basically.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. Not only it's in a beautiful, a visually beautiful place. From being there a few years now, I find that it is a fantastically positive atmosphere because all the authors are happy to be there. They're happy to chat with you about their books and their stories and their careers as authors. It seems just everybody's having a great time. And I know that sounds like the pitch that we would say in the advert. But my listeners know I'm not overly honest to be polite, and I'm being genuinely honest. That is the atmosphere of it. So you're right. Whether you do love to read or don't love to read, you are most welcome, and you may walk out of there falling in love with a book, and you may have had no idea, but because you got to spend 5, 10, 15 minutes with the person who wrote it and created it, you may get a whole other angle onto the books. And you're no exception either.
I've talked to a lot of the authors now are my friends anyway. I attend a lot of their book fairs, which is down in West Wales, in Tenby and Narberth and Carmarthen. And each of them have told me the reason they love the Rhondda Book Fair is the fact that it's done inside a theatre. Because all the other places we do are like halls or just open spaces. But the Rhondda Book Fair is in the SOAR Chapel Community Centre, and it's a place where they hold plays, they do talks, they do different activities, and it's got a nice warm feeling in there with the spotlights and the stage and stuff. So it's just a little bit different to the other events I go to.
Oh, of course. It's honestly, it's a gorgeous room. I am desperate to get an acoustic guitar in there, just so you know. But usually, like you said, you go to these events and they're in massive gymnasiums, you know, and it's industrial is the feel, if that's the right word. It's big and it's open, whereas this one, it's more enclosed and it's warmer, and it's inherently by that it feels friendlier. Not to say that Comic-Cons aren't friendly, but this one is, it genuinely feels like it's a room full of friends, and you know, and it is because you and the authors are friends, but also because everybody's so cool and so happy to be there. I don't know whether novels or literature in general brings that kind of a crowd to it, but it's a wonderful atmosphere. It
is, and the reason I created this thing in the first place is because in the Rhondda area, in the Rhondda Valley, there isn't much in the way of literature there. There's one or two small events are starting to pop up now, but a lot of the literature events take place in cities and bigger towns.
Yes,
and we've got nothing in the Rhondda, so it's. A lot of people didn't really understand what it was when it first started. They just thought it was like a second-hand book sale.
Right.
But when they come along now, because obviously it's in its third year, like I said, with my wife, but it's in its fourth year in its entirety. You've got people who keep coming back and bringing their friends back, and they're starting to get a feel for what it is, and they're bringing new people in as well, which is great, and it's what I intended. I don't want to make a lot of money or anything out of it, which I don't anyway, but I just want to bring the community together. Sounds a little bit cheesy, Matt, but it's the way I feel about it. I'm really passionate about what I do.
And it's for anyone who's met you or spoken to you, or if they've heard you on this podcast, it's crystal clear that you're passionate, which is one of the reasons why I enjoy working with you. As much as I hate being nice to you, as we do, but that's one of the reasons I like working with you so much, is purely because of your passion for it, and because yourself and Jan both have such passion, and you're so friendly and easy to get along with. Rachel and I love that stuff. So again, like you said, to me, that's more important than the money anyway. So, it's so great to be able to have an event like this. Now, something you may find really cool, something I'll never forget, I believe it was last year. I was stepping outside at the book fair, and a bunch of kids on their bicycles pulled up and just kind of dropped their bikes, and they said, "Oh, what's going on in there today?" And I said, "Oh, it's a book fair." And they said, "Oh, can we go in?" And I was like, "Of course you can. You can meet authors, you can check out books." And they said, "Cool." And 3 or 4, it was 4 young kids just kind of ran off, left their bikes on the side of the grass there, and just ran into the book fair. And that's kind of what it's about. I really like that about it.
Well, that's the first time I've heard that story, and I think that's great. It's what it's all about and what I intended it to be. But it's, like I said, people don't generally know what a book fair is. Unless you're deep into reading, then you will travel to Cardiff or London or, Manchester or somewhere to see a kind of well-published author. If it's children's books, it could be like David Walliams, or it could be something like Simon Mayo, who used to be a Radio 1 DJ. It could be Stephen King or whatever. But for something to happen in the heart of the Rhondda, people are starting to warm to it and realise that there's all these different writers there who actually write the books, and it's everything from children's picture books right up to adult fiction and non-fiction. So there's a taste for everybody, and it's like when they walk in there, there's somewhere to sit, to have a cup of coffee and a bit of cake or something to eat, and then they can just take it all in. There's nothing forced on them. And the big thing I like to push is the fact that it's all free.
That's right, absolutely.
And especially when I've got the wonderful MattLees, who's doing all my interviewing at the author panels. People haven't even been to an author panel before. I'm kind of blasé about it because I've been doing it for years, and I've been to loads and loads of bookie events. But I didn't realise that there are people out there who don't know what these events are. They see them maybe on a television documentary or something, but it's actually in the heart of the Rhondda, and they can go and visit it themselves.
Yeah, and I think you and I are both maybe guilty of that. We're very blasé about the panels, not in a disrespectful way, but like you said, in a way that we've done these things tons of times now. So it's cool to be able to take a step back and have a new audience that doesn't necessarily know what a panel or a Q&A really is. They may have an assumption, but it's cool that we're able to welcome them into the room. It's a friendly atmosphere. People don't seem afraid to sort of ask questions and talk to these authors and things like that. So it's really cool also for me to do them. So thank you very much for letting us be a part as well. Always fascinating.
That's great. It was. I mean, I met you at a Comic-Con, the Geek Fest thing, and we kind of clicked. And it's been a real privilege to have you to come to my event, and your lovely wife Rachel, obviously.
Well, yeah, I know you did tell me those. Once Rachel stops coming, I'm not invited, but that's okay. We can talk about that part later.
Yeah.
Now as you mentioned, is it this year? How many authors are we looking at that are going to be in this room that you people can meet and greet and say hello to?
Well, I've got a lot of kind of notes next to me with a pad. I've got, including myself, I've got 21 authors lined up. Some have previously been in previous years. Others are new to the event altogether. Obviously, I'll talk about the special guest we got in the afternoon a bit later. But it's comical because I've got Santa Claus coming this year, which is very unusual for the middle of summer.
Yes. Well, he's available, obviously, so...
Yeah, well, do you want me to name a couple? Or?
Yeah, sure. Well, why don't we mention the ones that are in the panel, because then people know what they can come and sort of participate in.
Right, well, I haven't actually advertised this to the on Facebook or anything, so it doesn't really matter because I've got to set it all out. But I've got a children's author panel and I've got an adult fiction author panel,
Right.
which I try and get two in every year, as you know. The four participants, and besides you as the what do you call yourself? An interviewer, a compere? What's your title?
You can call me what you like, just don't call me too early in the morning.
Okay, then we
Host. Let's say host.
Host.
Yes.
That's really good. I'll mark that down. You should be right there. So I've got, I'm going to be on the children's one, which is Colin R Parsons, as you know about me already with the steampunk and fantasy stuff. I've got Angela Fish, who's on it this year as well. She writes picture books for 5 to 7-year-olds. Her books, let me just check I think she's got like a pirate and adventure out. She's also got, let's have a look, just trying to check what I've got. Oh yeah, she's got Ben and the Spider, which is a picture book series. Ben and the Spider Prince, and there's all different versions of this, which she's great. She does a lot of events anyway. We've got Damien Harvey. Damien Harvey hasn't been for a couple of years. He's highly published. He's got 40 books out, from picture books to children's books, but he also does educational stuff. And he also does an online thing with a publishing company that they write a story, and the school children log on there and they actually set the story in what direction they want to go.
That's
like
cool.
I said, Damien does a lot of school events, presentations and talks and workshops. So he's really colourful, really great guy to talk to as well. And the final one on the children's panel is Ruth Morgan. Now, Ruth Morgan originally kind of done just picture books, but she's got a book at the moment called Alien Rain, which is like a children's to teen kind of sci-fi book. So I'm big into sci-fi, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to meeting Ruth. I've only met her through Facebook contacts and messaging. So it's like an eclectic crew where they're all children's authors, but it should be a lot of different inputs put in there, so you'll have some a real good conversation with them.
Yeah, that's now we do those. Sorry to dig you there. We do those for 30 minutes. It's audience participation, so you can ask questions. You can follow along as well. But my favorite part is usually when the authors get talking amongst themselves and they start comparing stories and how and their styles. That's when I really want to sink my teeth in, because that's when it gets really cool. So you definitely want to be there. That's our children's panel, and so you may go ahead, my friend.
The adult fiction panel, I kind of I dropped you a big kind of bomb this year, because I've given you 4 completely different authors, which would be a bit of a challenge for you, but they're adult fiction and non-fiction, and they've got their own stories, so I'm sure you can get the best out of them. We've got Julie McGowan. Julie McGowan has been in the past. She didn't come last year, but I think she came either the second year, I think, or third year. The second year, I think, anyway. She does kind of romance, that kind of stuff, chick lit.
Yep.
But maybe set in a different time period and things. So that's one angle. Then you've got Nigel C. Williams, who does kind of crime fiction, police detective novels.
Yep.
So there's a completely different spectrum there. And then you've got Graham Watkins, who's been to everyone so far. He does travelogues. He also does, found out recently, he does like business books, how to sell your company, that kind of thing.
Right.
But he also does Welsh myths and legends, which is a real withdrawal from the romance and from the detective novels.
Yeah.
Also on that panel, I've got Gail B. Williams, but she's also got an alias of G.B. Williams. Gail B. Williams she does steampunk, which I'm kind of into the steampunk of engines and cogs and wheels and pulleys and steam, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But she also does a crime fiction series. So you've got like an eclectic bunch there, which you can... that would be a nice challenge for you, but I think that'd be more interesting for you as well as a host, Matt.
Yeah, it sounds like fun. It's like 4 different more than 4. There are multiple avenues there, multiple directions that we can go, and that's it is a challenge, but that's what I'm there for. It sounds like a great time. I'm really looking forward to it. Now, that's an exclusive announcement then here and now, because you haven't announced the panels as of yet. So you heard it here first. Now, speaking of fresh challenges and people I've never spoken to before, there's also something else happening later in the day that I'm super excited for. And if you're ready and willing to share that news with the potentially millions of people that listen to this podcast, maybe they can all be let in on what's happening later in the day, something that you and I are both very excited for.
Yes, this is at 3 o'clock, which will be 3. I'm extending the book fair this year. It normally wraps up around 3, but this year I've added an extra a guest between 3 and 4. The award-winning crime fiction author, Rhondda J. Ellery. Roger has got 14 novels out, I believe. I went through his website to see, he's an award-winning author, to see the awards he's got, and he's got a plethora of awards. The unusual thing about Roger is the fact that he's a crime fiction novelist. He lives in Birmingham, but all his crime fiction is set in America. Right. But he spends most of his time touring kind of America and France. He loves France as well. But I came across him years ago through his wife. I was doing a book signing in the Bull Ring in Birmingham with my very first book, Wizard's Kingdom. His wife Vicky came up with their son Ryan. I've got a son Ryan as well. And she bought the very first book that I had. I kept in touch over the years, and then I got over Roger and asked him would he come down and would he do an interview, and he was delighted to do so. I've been to a couple of events where Roger Ellery, he did a crime fiction week with a library in the Rhondda. He did a tour of the libraries, and he actually did an event in Marden Park in the Orangery quite a few years ago. Mm-hmm. And he's a very intelligent guy. He's a very humorous guy. I am looking forward to that event, to be in the audience just to see what you can extract out of him, because he's got tons and tons of information, but he's quite comical, and the combination of you and him should be a brilliant duo and should pull in the audiences as well. I've got a lot of authors coming to the event, but I'm hoping that the following that Roger has got will pull in a lot more, and it should be a really enjoyable interview.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly can't wait. I've read his biography. I've seen how many books and different styles of books he's written. I can't wait to sit down with him. And I think very, very clever on your part to give us the full hour as well, because I have a feeling it's going to be like an onion. And once we start talking, it's going to get, there's going to be lots going on. So we'll have the full hour, and let's hope the room is full for that. It'd be really cool to do that, because it's going to be another fantastic year, I believe. And again, we have to mention that incredibly low, remarkably fantastic entrance fee of $0.
The what, sorry?
I did a big, grandiose, fancy way to try to say that it's free. You don't have to pay to come in.
Oh. Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, well, that's it. If you go to these different festivals, like especially the Hay Festival or the Reading Festival, all these literature festivals, you've got to pay an entrance fee, and then you've got to pay for the individual talks in the event, in the different venues. But with the Rhondda Book Fair, the main thing, I know I'm banging on about this, but it's free for anybody to come in, so nobody's got to worry about paying to go in there. If anybody, once they go inside, they want to buy tea and cake and stuff and coffee and things, they've got that which you can purchase, all the books from the authors that are there. But the actual panels that take place inside, which if anybody who drops by has never been to one before, most of these other events are very expensive. You can pay anything from £5 to £25 just to go in to see each individual author or film star. Well, you know what it's like in these Comic-Con events. But this one is actually everything is free, bar for purchasing the books and the food that's in there. So to go and see a panel of authors, which is a free event, is brilliant. To go and see a top named author who's known worldwide, and he's got lots and lots of followers, and he's got, he's an award-winning author. That's totally free as well. So there's a lot of appeal to this event.
Definitely. It's like I said, the story about the 4 kids with the bikes, they probably would not have gone in if there was a charge, because they wouldn't have had, say, 4 or 5 or more pounds each to get in. So
yeah,
it's great. It's Saturday, September the 1st, the beautiful Soar Chapel Community Center in the Rhondda. You notice I don't try to say the name of the town anymore. Go ahead and say that for me. In the Penny Craig?
Penny Gray, yeah, not far off.
I'm getting there. I'm getting better. That's all you can expect, I guess. So we start at 11 a.m. Is that right?
Well, it opens at 10:30.
Right.
I haven't quite set the time for the panels yet. I think it'll be roughly about the same as they've been every year, except for the extra one.
Yep.
But yeah, it'll be open at 10:30. I'm hoping that the weather. Well, I don't know. I don't know what the weather's going to be like, but we've had a beautiful summer so far. Last year it was a beautiful day anyway, and people came, but not quite as much as the year before. So I'm hoping, because it's been a nice summer anyway, and if it's a nice day, people will just pop along just before the kids go back to school.
That's right. And there's going to be a big name author in the house too, so let's hope that's a big draw as well.
Yeah, it's going to have a raffle there. Lots of prizes for that. I presume some of the authors will end up going in to see the interview at the end of the day as well. So I'm hoping we'll have a big, lively audience there. I get excited for this event every year. I know I'm kind of planning it, and there's a lot of work involved, and it is quite stressful at times. But as soon as I meet up with you, Matt, everything seems to melt away.
Yeah, that's just how I do, baby. What can I say? Listen, Colin, thank you so much. Please check out Colin R Parsons. He's on the Facebook. He's on the Twitter. Colin R Parsons. His website, colinrparsons.com. Is that right, or .co.uk?
That's .com. You have smack on them, my friend.
Absolutely. And it is Saturday, September 1st. He'll be there. I'll be there. Our wives will be there. And hopefully tons of enthusiastic readers, writers, or just people that are a bit curious about what a book fair even is. You're welcome to come along. Join us. I'm even going to be on my best behavior, I promise.
Oh, I hope not.
All right, I'll give you like 50-50. Any closing thoughts there, sir, before we wind down?
Have I got anything to say?
Yeah, any final thoughts? Nothing? You're okay?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this event with Matt. If you've got nothing to do at the loose end, if you can't make it there, it'll be live on Rhondda Book Fair Facebook page. And I'll probably have the recordings on YouTube as well, so you can re-watch it as many times as you want. Thank you very much for listening.
All right, cool. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen.